Hi folks, this is just a quick video showing some of the tools that are available to RPL applicants at mycareerpath.ie. There are a huge amount of tools here and tips and things like that. The ones we're going to focus on today and the ones I just want to show right now are the ones that our applicants can use for creating CVs and cover letters. Evidence for work experience and experiential learning and other kinds of prior learning is often evidenced and chiefly evidenced in CVs and cover letters and things like that. So it's good to be aware of the tools that are available for applicants for you to know what they can do to help them along and take a lot of anxiety out of the process. As we know, the language used in CVs and cover letters is often quite stylized and has a particular format and things like that. And these tools just really help students come along with that. So if we look at the CVs and application sections, we have some wonderful resources and tips and videos for creating a CV and tips how to do it and what employers look for. But at the moment, I just want to look at the tools here. And the tools we're going to focus on now are the CV Builder, the CV 360 Reviewer, and the Cover Letter Builder. And I think these are super tools for scaffolding applicants, and it's good for you to be aware that they are here. So if we look at the CV Builder, there's a nice video that shows the students how to use the tool. And then it's really well scaffolded. I've just some dummy information here. You start by putting in your details in the correct boxes, and then you add your profile, and there are good examples always, so you can view the examples here of personal profiles and the different things you are and the difference between an experienced and an entry-level profile. As you go on, you can save, and you can always come back later. It'll keep it here. You can use the tool in different stints and come back and finish different sections at different times. Here we've left the education blank here. I've done this on purpose now because I want to show how the tool will highlight what's missing. We have two. We have the education and qualifications, and we also have training. So there is a spot for training that is separate to education already. And then we have our work experience section. Again, you can always view examples for each section. It's nicely done. And then skills, and we've got transferable skills and technical skills here, two categories. Okay, and then we have our interest section, nice tips for including interests on your CV, and then references. You can add your references there and some tips. And there's a nice one here in other. I like this little power verbs helper because you also get some personal descriptor helpers, but the power verbs are, words for achieve. They help you figure out nice ways to word and to get across to the employer exactly who you are and what you've achieved. And you also have some examples of personal descriptors here, words for creative, words for critical thinker. I think these are really great tools for taking a lot of the anxiety out of the whole process and just helping people along and helping them get a grip on the kind of specialized language that's expected of you in these contexts. So when you've got your CV done, you can download it and you can choose the kind of template. You can have entry-level chronological, entry-level skills-based, entry-level hybrid, experience chronology or skills-based. And it depends on the one you choose. But say if I choose a skills-based, now the information I have put in here isn't really built to be a skills-based one. So if I go to choose the skill-based option here, so the information was not sufficient for a skills-based CV. It's going to let me know that in these green sections. It's going to say, look, you've just given bullet points. That's not enough for a skills-based CV, and it'll tell you where stuff needs to go. So you can't just choose any category. It'll feed back and say, look, you haven't given us the correct kind of information for this style of CV. Now, however, this is an entry-level CV, chronological and key skills, and you see it's saying, okay, this is fine, this is fine. I haven't put my education in here just to show how the CV 360 reviewer works and what it will highlight. So when you print out your CV, if you upload that to the CV 360 tool, it'll rate it and it'll say these are the tests, and this uses similar software that's often used by big companies as well, to look at CVs, and it's done 59 checks and I've passed 45 and I've failed 14 tests here. So if I go to view the feedback, it'll show me that, for example, I just call this skills-based CV, and it's saying, oh, hang on, your file should really have your own name on it. So, it's basic stuff like that. But it could stop some basic errors. If I go to presentation, it's saying the presentation is fine. If it's going to the structure, sections, key sections, it's spotted. It looks like the education section is missing. It's saying I have these sections, but section dominance, it's also looked at, which section is dominant. Is that something you want? Is that on purpose you focus there? So it's noticed here that I've left out my education section, and it's also noticed that I may want my skills section to be a bit more padded out there. It notes I haven't added a LinkedIn profile. That's something I might want to do. Again, it's picking up in the lacking education section. And my personal profile, I only added in a small dummy one, and it's saying it's less than 50 words, which is probably too short. I might want to go back and do that again. So it's giving some good tips here, and it's structuring the process nicely. The skills, it's looked at the skills, it's looked at some employability things. It's given me this nice skills dominance word cloud where it's run it through, and it's showing what kind of making sure that the skills that I've highlighted in the CV are the correct ones for the job and what they're looking for. I think this is a really nice tool. And then in the language, basic checks, I've got 2 spelling mistakes, I've got 3 grammar issues. The adjectives, I'm not using really good adjectives in the personal descriptor that they'd expect me to see, things like that. It does my sentence length and my readability and my consistency. I've got capitalization inconsistencies. So there's a lot of really good basic tests here that help scaffold applicants through the process. And I really like the power verbs and the other tips they have. And I can make amends to it, follow the advice and rescore my CV and look to get a better score here and bring it on. Now, the other tool I want to look at is the cover letter builder. This is nice because it gives some good guidance on creating a cover letter. It tells me what should be in each section, the introduction, what kind of address to use and things like that. I know that can cause a lot of anxiety. It did personally with me. Is like, is it dear sir, madam correct? And they're giving you an idea of here what to use, and then giving you some structure. Again, we have our power words here for struggling to write. Here are some positive action words, and it gives some nice examples, which I think is nice, and it lets you know what each section interests, why do you fit, details, next steps, things like that. So it's quite a nice tool to write your letter and have it done in sections, and then you can review it. They're the tools that are going to be used the most when people are trying to collect and express the evidence they have for prior learning. And as I say, it's important for you to be aware of these and to maybe send the students to them. It helps scaffold them along the process to get a really good and nice CV and cover letter started.